And girls, welcome to this episode of Mixing Elevator Live Show. As announced, I will look today together with you into multiple different mixes which were submitted. Some are mastering ready, some not so far. And I think this makes total sense. So that I can give you a multitude of different tips and hints to prepare your mixes better for mastering. And sometimes I go a step further to show you solutions, etc., etc. And certainly I will point out to the pain points and don't take that personal. So as a coach, I need to do that. It's not personal. I try to be humble. And yeah, so let's go. Here I've got a mix and let's look into it. What we can already see here is an abuse of the limiter. Despite the existing headroom we have, it's already overdone for a mix. So don't go that far in your mix, basically. So this is just a simple visual indicator, and you can just see that from the waveform. So it's not good to go that far, and it's living at minus 11.2 LUFS integrated. And yeah, for this kind of genre, it's more like a live recording, folk-ish. I think, I don't know if it's live or studio, however. This loudness would probably feasible after mastering or making sense after mastering. In other words, you don't need to go that far. So minus 15 LUFS in the mixing stage is totally fine in this case. And it's important so that you try to be nice to your peaks. This is one thing. So the peak structure, like from this reading, is okay. So you have headroom and no overs. This is fine. But going that far doesn't make sense. So, but this mix, unfortunately, is by far totally not mastering ready or anything else. I took it because there are things happening which are very important these days to take care of. It comes with a whole lot of face trouble, and I'm going to show you that, and I'm going to give you a few hints how to deal with it in your mixing project. So let me play it.
Before you go, you must know we've all got blood on our hands. With all that you make and all that you take, we've all got blood on our hands. In times before we went to war, nobody then was forgiving.
It's impossible to master it, and you can see how much is going away when I hit the mono button. So too much information is going away, but even if I hit the mono button, you can hear, I hit it now, and I play it again for a little while, and you can still hear that there are melted in phase problems, even in the mono.
Alone in a field, lying down the hill, the love in our hearts was missing.
So this is actually happening pretty often, and you need to take care of that. So besides a whole lot of other crazinesses in this world, so stereo craziness is one of the things in the audio engineering world. And back in the days when I started audio engineering, recording, etc., I started with analog tape machines. And we had a limited number of tracks. So certainly we would record a guitar in mono and electric guitars in mono and everything. So except probably a Leslie or a Fender Rhodes through a jazz chorus or something. That would be most likely recorded stereo or piano. But other instruments would be recorded mono. These days, everything is stereo. So this doesn't make sense, and we need to deal with it. And you need to understand that a whole lot of instruments, VST instruments, come with overly stereoized signals already. And I see mixes often where I have a bunch of different tracks, like a Rhodes, a piano, a synth, another synth, and guitars and whatsoever, and everything is already out of the ordinary in the sense of it's going into the red. There are bass sounds which go into the red, which is stupid. It doesn't make sense at all. There are drum sounds, drum loops, which are already like gluing here beyond the border. You need to look at that. You can't expect that if you have a whole lot of libraries and VST instruments, etc., you can't expect that everything is sounding great coming from those things. So even manufacturers overdo the game here and there, and they try to impress you. Whoa, it's big, but it's stupid. It's useless. So never take a sound. You need to make the decision at the very beginning when you produce music and you pick a VST instrument sound. You need to check it, and if it's going too far, reduce the width internally in the VST instruments if you can. Even sometimes synth sounds are so out of control, and the problem most people have is the decision-making process of building the stage in this world of stereo craziness. So when you have a multitude of super stereo tracks, what would you do? The majority of people would place it here and here and here and here, and it's you have a very blurry mix without sense. Everything is happening here, and this doesn't make sense. So you need to make decisions and build your panning strategy. And sometimes it's good when you have a super stereo piano, which is even meaningful super stereo and not out of control stereo. Then reduce the width and put it left. Put an equivalent instrument in the same range, make it narrower, put it right, so that you keep space in the phantom center. So sometimes it appears that even super stereo tracks, they still have something in the phantom center. So you blur the phantom center and you don't have enough space for the vocals, etc. You want to have space there. In the phantom center, there's just kick, bass, snare, and that's it. So the rest of the instruments needs to go a little bit left, a little bit right, or further left, further right, but don't overdo the game. So this other part of this disease is the multitude of tools where you can enhance your stereo width. There are way too many tools, and some of them really suck and destroy your signal, and others are more meaningful. Sometimes it makes sense to use the tools, but the tools are, it's like medicine. Medicine can help remedy the disease, but they can also kill you. And too many stereo tools, too overdone stereo tools kill your mix, basically. And in this case, basically, my recommendation is going down with the levels so that you don't hit into the limiter too far, and look into every single track without anything, the source, the pure original track, and figure out whether it's in phase or not, and then get rid of all the things which make it sound like that. Sometimes it could be two microphones with a different distance. One other thing, how can you hear phase things? I mean, I'm very, very sensitive to phase issues, even on a very small scale. Just when for a second something pops somewhere for a short time into the red area, I instantly hear that. How do I hear that? I feel it in my ears. It's more like a physical sensation. It's a little bit, you can compare that. If you have, for example, earbuds or headphones with noise cancellation, when you switch on the noise cancellation, you get a certain under pressure in your ears, as if you are sitting in an airplane and you're losing height, and you feel this pressure in your ears. And hearing phase issues is an equivalent to that, just on a finer doses. So I learned to sense this pressure changes basically, and this is a good hint, I think, to learn to recognize phase problems. One other thing is you can recognize that because you sense a hollow sound. When you listen to this,
There's no time to wait.
it sounds super hollow, and it's super unreal. There is no, the hearing gets no, the vocal comes from somewhere. There's no particular, the vocal is sitting here. Usually you would put the vocal into the center.
For love, not hate.
But here's zero phantom center. You need to close your eyes and you need to hear the vocal here, right? And it's living here. It's living in the loudspeakers left and right. And I don't know exactly where it comes from. It's most likely not the recording. You need to test it and to see and to solve that, so that when you close your eyes, you hear the vocal here, and the reverb can come from here to make it bigger, etc. But it's also a little bit too much reverb. And the guitars are also affected by this phase issue. They are have way too much highs, and they have no natural body. And look for that, and really delete your plugin chain and start from scratch and use less and just do the things which are needed to make it sound natural and nice, and then it will work basically. So that's for the first song. Let's see where we are going next here. Let me go here. I don't exactly know what's coming. It's this thing here. Probably I made some notes. Let me see. Yay. Okay, if I remember right, this is more mastering ready. Everything is bypassed here. Let's listen to it.
Un autre peuple, un autre monde, d'autres étoiles, le paradis ou l'enfer. Du sang partout, les prisons, la torture, désert tropical. Peuples opprimés, humiliés à jamais, prostitués pour manger, esclaves par couleur, étendue mystérieuse. La corde du pendu ou la croix de Jésus, missionnaires en soudanais. indigène apprivoisé, hier déjà, la soumission. Oh, voyage. Oh, oh, voyage. Qui t'a appris à changer de visage? Oh, voyage. Oh, oh, voyage. Donne à mon corps la peau de tes images.
Yeah, it's quite in a decent shape. The balances and of the mix. Just one technical thing, as said last time, get your stupid peaks under control. This is important. So I would probably do this first. And no, it's hey, come on. This is showing me the wrong one. Where does it live? Here does it live? Dum, 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 dum. So here we go. And yeah, you can see this dotted line is -6. So I basically can crank up the limiter hypothetically to +6 dB, and I make the output to -6 dB, and what we get is we razor away this stupid peaks and see if it works. So let me just go to the tiny loop.
Pression. Oh, voyage. Oh, oh, voyage.
Okay, now we have a more controlled signal. Let me make a little bit space here and go for the blue. Bam, bam, bam. In terms of FBI, frequency band integrity, I see a little problem and non-integrity. I forgot to say that the frequency band integrity is not just a thing you need to take care of in one spot where you check it, the chorus, for example. You need to take care of a consistency throughout the whole song. And in our case here, when we listen to this part, we can see there's a lack of warmth in the bass.
Du sang partout, les prisons, la torture, désert tropical. Peuples opprimés, humiliés à jamais.
Mixing and mastering is all about balance. So I try to show you. So I'm going to have a low shelf and try to find a spot.
À jamais, prostituées pour manger, esclaves par couleur, étendue mystérieuse. La corde du pendu ou la croix de Jésus, missionnaire ou soutané. Le paradis ou l'enfer. Du sang partout, les prisons, la torture, désert tropical. Peuples opprimés, humiliés à jamais, prostituées pour manger, esclaves par couleur.
Can you see the consistency, the degree of control of the bass, the instrument, is not given. So there are some notes which are probably a few dB louder than other notes from the bass. And this is a problem. So for modern music, we need to control everything. So basically, as a mixing engineer, you need to become a control freak as well as a mastering engineer. And the problem with an uncontrolled bass is you would make it louder and then notes would pop out and you think, oh, it's too much. But it's not too much, it's just this note which is too much. Then you turn it down and then you have a lack of warmth. So the bass is important to provide you with warmth, right? And let me look what we can do. Yeah, let me take this guy here, dynamic EQ. Try to mitigate that with this EQ. Oops, no, I want to have a shelf and probably a little bit higher. And I just want to have it dynamic and see, bam, 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 if we can control it a little bit.
Du sang partout, les prisons, la torture, désert tropical. Peuples opprimés, humiliés à jamais, prostitués pour manger, esclaves par couleur, étendus mystérieux, le paradis ou l'enfer. Du sang partout, les prisons, la torture, désert tropical. Peuples opprimés, humiliés à jamais, prostitués pour manger, esclaves par couleur, étendus mystérieux, le paradis ou l'enfer. Du sang partout, les prisons.
What I mean with overall balance, the bass is not just the bass as a rhythmic thing, it gives the tonal reference, but it also gives the warmth into the whole thing. And there are a lot of instruments in a higher area which are a little bit, yeah, they have a lot of highs. And to make them exist in a nicer way, it's good to have the warmth in the bottom. So use what you have, the bass in this case, to give it the warmth.
Les prisons, la torture, désert tropical. Peuples opprimés, humiliés à jamais, prostitués pour manger, esclaves par couleur, étendus mystérieux, le paradis.
The bass actually can still need a little bit more control, probably multiband compression or something in the band. But the problem will appear in the world of mastering. Hypothetically, we can do automation. I'm one of the mastering guys who hates that because the requirement of automation and mastering is an indicator that the mix is not mastering ready, period. So this is my opinion. And when we now get into this part, we can hear that the bass treatment I've done is over the edge. Because here you all of a sudden come up with more bass. And this needs to be controlled throughout the whole song so that you control that already in the mix, basically. So we can test it here. Yeah, probably when we give it a little bit more control. Let me see, what can we do? Let me try this time, probably. I never use it, but I use it today. Multiband compressor. Let me see what we can do. So I just ignore this band, and this band, and I let me see ratio. I go a little bit more aggressive on the bass to control it, and attack should be probably a little bit longer so that it doesn't destroy the rhythmic portions here. Let me see. And what I can hear, and you probably not, is that we need a little bit sub control. I can do it a little bit higher. The bass is not that deep. And we check it out.
Voyage, oh, oh, voyage, qui t'a appris à changer de visage, oh.
What is going on here? Oh, it's bypassed. Stupid me. So,
Voyage, oh, oh, voyage, donne à mon corps la peau de tes images. Voyage, oh, oh, voyage, donne à mon corps la peau de tes images.
and this is what is too much. So there are a lot of little things which do not belong into the bass area. So you need to keep the bass area clean from whatever instruments have no business there. So basically your bass has business there and the kick, and that's it. And probably when you have a very low hand drum or a very low tom, yeah, it can go low, but not lower than 20 hertz. You want to have it clean, because if you have things breathing around at 5 or 10 hertz, they keep energy from the amplifiers of the loudspeakers, and they create what we call intermodulation distortion. This is the inability of your loudspeaker to represent 5 hertz, like when you stumble on the microphone stand, like this kind of very, very slow movements. And while the speaker is trying to do that, it can't really nicely represent a kick or something else. So that's the reason why you want to keep it clean. And all of a sudden, with this low cut, the bass area doesn't feel too much now any longer. Let me do a quick comparison here.
Voyage, oh, oh, voyage, qui t'a appris à changer de visage, oh, voyage, oh, oh, voyage, donne à mon corps la peau de tes images.
Can you see that there's already a whole lot of more balance, so that the bass becomes consistent now and provides the warmth we need, and the dynamic jumps in the bass are a little bit better controlled, so that you have this consistency. Let me listen a little bit further.
Un autre peuple, un autre monde, d'autres étoiles, le paradis ou l'enfer. Des migrants partout, camps de barbelés, sourires accueillants. Réfugiés sans repos, la vie connaît pas, la mort connaît trop. C'est mon île de lumière qui dérive. Nuit exotique, j'écoute tes musiques. Fonctionnaires encravatés, liberté emprisonnée. Aujourd'hui encore, la répression. Oh, voyage. Oh. Voyage. Oh, oh, voyage.
So just to explain what I'm doing, I'm listening. But I'm also listening separately to the M portion, to the mono portion, left plus right, and I'm listening to the difference portion, left minus right. So difference and side is the same thing here. It gives me some information, and basically it's a good idea to have, in the side portion you want to have a roll-off in the bass, so you don't want to have mess around with bass information too much here on the difference. But it's helpful to have a balanced difference and a stabilized difference, and the same with the mono portion. With the mono portion, you definitely want to hear the bass, the bass and the kick. But you also want to have like a balance. And here's a strange, it's not a classical bathtub thing, but something is missing, for my opinion. I have no exact clue where, but let's figure that out. And yeah, probably I just take a bell and look around. I switch this bell here to mono, so left plus right, so that I just treat what's happening here in the phantom center, basically, because the side is quite balanced, I would say. So let me figure that out.
Voyage.
Listen to what happens with the lead vocal. Due to the fact that I have applied these changes just to the mono portion, the vocal is stabilized. And when I was sweeping here through the bands, I was looking for spots where I can catch the lead vocal without creating collateral to other instruments. So the string instruments, I don't know, I think it's not a banjo, it's something, it's also I think it's not a mandolin, it's some kind of smaller, higher string instrument. And I didn't want to catch too much of that, so that I support the stability of the singer here in the center, and also the speech comprehensibility. So let me switch these two bands off and on, and so that you can hear the difference.
Des
So I think actually, now that the bass is a little bit more stabilized, we can have a little bit more overall brightness, I think, on everything. So high shelf is the idea here. And I can zoom in here. So zooming in and mastering is quite a great idea, because when you zoom into 3 dB, plus minus 3 dB range, you keep yourself from doing crazy things. Usually in the mastering world, we don't make crazy things. And when we need to do crazy things, the mix is not ready for mastering, basically. So let me try to give it a little bit more air, and as a thing, it will happen that it's getting a little bit out of control. It needs a little bit of extra dynamic control. So this is natural now. It doesn't harm because it's a little bit underrepresented, and thus little cut-throughs don't harm. But when I increase it, it's coming to a point where some spikes from the guitar will pop out. Probably before I do that, I'm going to use this here. Let me see where we are. I want to have a shelf, and I want to go dynamic with it, and yes, and I want to do the static to 0 and see if we can control the highs at first.
Voyage, donne à mon cœur la beauté des paysages. Oh, voyage, oh, oh, voyage, donne à ma vie le goût de ton passage.
Yeah, makes it more controlled, right? Works great, and now we have the space to add a little bit of air here.
Ton passage, oh, voyage, oh, oh, voyage, donne à mon cœur la beauté des paysages, oh, voyage, oh, oh, voyage, donne à ma vie le goût de ton passage, oh, voyage, oh, oh.
Yeah, works quite good, and now with a little bit more control, it would stand it. For the sake of simplicity and speed, I would like to use my analog compressor. I'm going to do so where we are. I have inserted it here, and then I go here. I can zoom in and add this compressor. Let me do that.
Voyage, donne à mon cœur la beauté des paysages. Oh, voyage, oh, oh, voyage, donne à ma vie le goût de ton passage. Oh, voyage.
So listen to how it calms down a little bit. So one thing is, in mixing, we focus on putting things into the right spot, basically, and creating frequency band integrity throughout the whole song. And that's basically it. Yeah, we also take care that we create depth, layering, etc. But in mastering, we now take the things which are going on the sides. They are nice, they're great, so no problem at all. But a thing in the world of mastering is that we make it a little bit calmer so that we can keep the focus to the vocals, and the things still exist. And we do that with compression. And I'm not sure yet. It was a pretty quick one. I would like to just toggle analog on and off, and then we can focus on what's happening to the feeling of the song. So let me start without analog.
Voyage, oh, oh, voyage, donne à mon cœur la beauté des paysages. Oh, voyage, oh, oh, voyage, donne à ma vie le goût de ton passage.
Can you see that it feels mastered all of a sudden, just with a little bit of nice single band compression? I've applied basically this 80 hertz and 80 hertz sidechain low cut, and let's listen again to that. So without.
Voyage, donne à mon cœur la beauté des paysages. Oh, voyage, oh, oh, voyage, donne à ma vie le goût de ton passage. Oh, voyage.
Okay, let's make a quick A-B.
Voyage, oh, oh, voyage, donne à mon cœur la beauté des paysages. Oh, voyage, oh, oh, voyage, donne à ma vie le goût de ton passage.
Can you see that everything is a little bit more controlled and stable, and the stage is more equally filled? It's not ready now, and it's not, I have not applied limiting, etc., to bring it to the final level. In real life, I probably would take a little bit more time to make a real mastering, but it shows basically the approach into the whole process and how you would do that. So I would say that's enough for today, and yeah, I hope you see you next time in our next Mixing Elevator live show, and feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and yeah, have a nice day.